You may be overwhelmed. That's natural. Let us proceed scientifically. There are at least 5 major advantages to onions on pizza, actually 6. I forgot one, which is ironic because onions are memorable. That was a joke. Please hold your laughter until the end when no one will be laughing. Advantage number 1, textural variation. Human beings are creatures of repetition. We wake up, we answer emails, we reheat things we once believed in. Texture is one of the few remaining surprises. When you bite a pizza with onions, there is resistance. A slight crunch or perhaps a tender pull depending on the cut and the bake. That resistance matters. Without it, pizza is often too easy, and food that is too easy becomes suspicious. No one trusts a meal that asks nothing of them. The onion asks very quietly for your participation. It says, chew. And in that moment, you remember you are alive, or at least mechanically operational. Advantage number 2, aromatic complexity. The smell of onions cooking is one of civilization's oldest warnings that something worthwhile is happening nearby. Entire households have changed direction because onions hit oil in a pan. People who are not hungry become hungry. People who are angry become less specific. On pizza, the onion contributes not only flavor, but atmosphere. You open the box, and there it is. That sweet, savory fog. That slightly sharp perfume of caramelized intention. It lifts the whole pizza out of the category of delivery and nudges it toward event. Without onions, many pizzas smell completed. With onions, they smell in progress. And progress, as we all know, is very important. That is why progress bars exist, though they are often lying. Good. Advantage number 3, flavor geometry. This is not a real term, but it should be. Flavor geometry refers to the way a topping occupies space in the mouth and across time. Pepperoni hits fast. Salt, fat, spice. Mushroom spreads low and dark, like weather. Onion, by contrast, moves in layers. First comes the sweetness, then the sulfuric brightness, then the savory finish, then the afterthought. A good onion is a staircase. A bad onion is still, in many cases, better than no onion, because even disappointment is an experience. A plain cheese pizza, while noble, can sometimes feel like an unfinished sentence. Onion completes the syntax. It adds punctuation. Not a period, not a comma, a semicolon, because onions imply continuation. If you put onions on a pizza, the pizza continues into memory, into the next room, into your breath, unfortunately, and that is a sacrifice worth making. Some people complain that onions overpower other toppings. This is false. What they actually do is reveal weakness. If a topping cannot coexist with onion, it should not be on the pizza. That topping lacks moral fiber. Take green peppers, fine, solid, cooperative. They work with onions because both understand civic duty. Take sausage, excellent, rich, heavy, needs onion the way a speech needs editing. Take anchovies, disturbing but coherent. Onion can frame their salt like curtains frame a crime. Take pineapple. Here we enter dangerous territory. Yet even there, onion serves a purpose. It provides a stern counterpoint to sweetness. It says to the pineapple, behave. This is an important service. Fruit must be supervised. Thank you. That was nothing, but thank you. Advantage number 4, visual sophistication. Pizza is seen before it is eaten. This is unavoidable unless you are living under unusual conditions. And onions, especially red onions, offer an undeniable elegance. The curved strips, the translucent edges, the slight singe where the heat catches them, it is beautiful in an administrative way. Not flamboyant, not decorative, intentional. Onions make a pizza look like someone had a plan, and I think in these uncertain times, people are comforted by evidence of planning, even if it's just on dinner. White onions offer clarity, red onions offer drama, yellow onions offer a kind of middle management reliability. Choosing the right onion is like choosing the right tie for a deposition. It matters, not morally, but aesthetically. And aesthetics are just morality with better lighting. That was also a joke. Now, let us address the emotional dimension, because there is one. There shouldn't be, but there is. Onions are one of the few toppings that imply adulthood. Children rarely request onion pizza with any sincerity. A child sees an onion and assumes a mistake has occurred. The adult, however, has crossed a bridge. He has stood in a kitchen at 11:40 p.m., holding half a red onion in the refrigerator light, and understood, perhaps for the first time, the shape of compromise. To choose onions is to admit that pleasure may contain bitterness, that sweetness may arrive through fire, that circles can contain layers, that dinner, like life, is sometimes fragrant and difficult. Also, onions are relatively cheap, which is nice. No, that's fair. Advantage number 5. The onion creates narrative tension. A pizza without onions is often exactly what it appears to be. There are few surprises. The bite begins and ends in familiar territory. An onioned pizza, however, contains suspense. Which bite will have more onion? Which part of the slice received the heavier concentration? Will this be a sweeter bite? A sharper bite? A bite where the onion has fused with cheese in that miraculous way that suggests the universe is not entirely hostile? You don't know. And that uncertainty keeps the eater, engaged. We speak often of engagement now, online, in branding, in culture. Everyone wants engagement, few understand it, but the onion understands it. The onion knows that to hold attention, you must not reveal everything at once. This is why onions have layers, which is also why ogres have layers. That was a reference. Very highbrow. You're welcome. Some object to onion breath. This criticism is unserious. Yes, onions linger. Yes, they accompany you, but so do all meaningful decisions. The onion leaves a trace. It marks the event. It refuses to let pizza become anonymous. Hours later, in an elevator, in a car, in a private moment of self-reflection, the onion returns and says, "Remember me." And you do. Because unlike many people, the onion followed up. That is professionalism. Advantage number 6. The onion improves the pizza's philosophical profile. Now we are entering the deeper water. What is an onion, really? A bulb, yes, a root-adjacent thing. A layered sphere pulled from darkness and sliced into moons. It begins underground and ends in fire. Few ingredients have such a complete dramatic arc. The tomato becomes sauce. The cheese becomes blanket. The crust becomes foundation. But the onion becomes revelation. Cut an onion and it makes you cry. Bake an onion and it makes you understand. There is almost no other topping that can say that. Olives don't make you cry. They mostly make you wonder who invited them. Ham doesn't make you cry. Ham is just there, pink and employed. But onions? Onions have stakes. They are one of the only pizza toppings with a built-in warning label from nature. This will affect you. And still we proceed. That, to me, is beautiful. Also, reckless. Mostly beautiful. There is a misconception that onions are filler, that they are used by cheap pizzerias to bulk out a topping list. This can happen, yes. But to judge onions by their worst applications is like judging cinema by airport televisions. A properly applied onion is not filler. It is leverage. A few strips can alter the entire profile of a slice. A well-distributed onion layer can lift mediocre sauce, sharpen bland cheese, and rescue processed meat from its own sadness. The onion is a consultant, an edible systems analyst. It enters the pizza late in development and quietly fixes what management overlooked. No one thanks it. Still it works. That's character. I respect that. There are, of course, different onion strategies. Some prefer finely diced onion for integration. This creates a more democratic pizza where onion is present in every bite, like a low-grade but welcome conspiracy. Others prefer thin crescents. This is a more theatrical approach. The onion is visible, legible. It forms elegant arcs over the cheese like little lavender highways if using red onion, which I often recommend for its color and restrained arrogance. Then there is the rustic, rough-cut onion, thick and irregular, for those who want the pizza to feel less like dinner and more like an argument. Each style has merit, except giant, raw onion slabs dropped on after baking. That is not pizza. That is sabotage. Mature crowd. I appreciate that. Let us now imagine the absence of onion. Picture a pizza with sauce, cheese, sausage, maybe mushroom. Fine. Serviceable. Competent. It may even be good. But add onion, and suddenly the pizza develops a point of view. Now it has thesis. Now it has angles. Now it has 1 foot in the kitchen and 1 foot in the metaphysical corridor where all great meals briefly stand before becoming leftovers. That is what onions do. They do not merely decorate the pizza, they haunt it in a good way, and perhaps that is why some people resist them. Because onions remind us that food can be more than comfort. It can also be confrontation. A little sweetness, a little sting, a little smoke, a little memory of the earth. The onion is not asking to be loved by everyone. It has dignity. It is not pineapple begging for discourse. It is not bacon performing constantly for approval. The onion simply arrives, does the work, and leaves behind understanding and smell, mostly understanding. Now, before we conclude, I will offer a practical recommendation. If you have never really given onions on pizza a fair trial, start modestly. A cheese pizza with light red onion, or sausage and onion, or mushroom and onion. If you are prepared for the pizza to become thoughtful, bake it well. Let the edges catch, let the onion go soft and just barely brown, then take 1 bite without talking. This is important. Silence is part of the recipe. Take the bite. Chew. Notice how the sweetness opens. Notice how the acidity of the sauce becomes clearer. Notice how the cheese feels less heavy. Notice how the entire slice seems to have acquired not more volume, but more dimension. This is the onion effect. It is not loud. It is not flashy. It is not fun. It is correct. And in a world increasingly devoted to novelty, correctness has become deeply unfashionable. But I remain committed to it, which is why I stand before you tonight in this room discussing onions on pizza with the solemnity of a coroner and the enthusiasm of a substitute teacher who has seen too much. Because some truths, however small, deserve witness. Onions belong on pizza. They belong there texturally, aromatically, aesthetically, philosophically, and spiritually. If you are weak enough to have a spirit, they improve the bite, they deepen the smell, they sharpen the structure. They bring layers to a food already built on layers, proving that excess, when properly arranged, can become harmony. They are humble, cheap, complicated, strangely moving, like cargo shorts. I see. Well, the absence of applause changes nothing. The onion remains valid. Good night.